That's so exciting. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is my first time doing this on a large scale. I did it the other day in my app, but of course, there's not near as many people on the app as there are on something like this. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so that you guys can see my handy little PowerPoint. All right, everyone can see that okay? Wonderful. Okay, awesome. I love seeing you guys' faces. Thank you so much. And for those who don't have your camera on, that is totally okay. I understand. I get it, but it's just so much fun to see people's faces. Okay, welcome you guys. So today we are going to be talking about weight loss for normal humans, okay? Because a lot of times I feel like people expect you to be literal superheroes and to just be okay with starving yourselves every single day for the rest of your life, and that's going to be content and satisfying for you. That's just completely unrealistic, okay? So this is a weight loss class for normal people, all right? Now, something that you can look forward to every single month. And I will warn you that when you signed up for this class, it did take your email. So every month, I'm going to send you out an email at the beginning of the month letting you know about the new class coming up in case you want to join. You can just click a link from that email and be a part of the next class if you'd like. So there's a free class every single month. This month is weight loss. Next month is going to be heart health. There is also a bonus class every month, a second class that is only for app subscribers. So in 2 weeks, my app subscribers are going to be able to join the Kick Sugar Addiction class. And don't stress out if you missed that class for some reason. I'm going to repost everything in the app as well, so you can just watch the replay. And stick around until the end, you guys, because I will be giving you a free ebook. All right. So allow me to introduce myself. Hi, you guys probably know me from social media as Pharmacist Jamie. I do have a doctorate in pharmacy. I've been working as a pharmacist for over a decade now, and I've always had a passion for healthcare, but I've been discouraged in a lot of ways. I've been discouraged being dismissed by the medical community myself, some things that have gone on in my life as far as my pregnancies are concerned. Just as far as my patients are concerned, so many patients are like, I have no idea why I'm taking this medication. The doctor didn't tell me anything. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay, we should fix that. And then just seeing there being more concern about doing certain procedures rather than trying to prevent someone from getting sick in the first place. My husband is a great example of this. Some of you have probably heard about how he was colonized with MRSA. He kept getting skin infections over and over and over, really bad ones where he had to go to the urgent care or even the emergency room a couple times, get them lanced, get antibiotics, the whole spiel. Not one time ever did any of these people say to him, hey, you're colonized with MRSA. You can fix that by getting some mupirocin ointment and putting it in your nose for 3 days. That's all it takes. No one ever said this. When we started dating, I was like, hey, you just need a little mupirocin, no problem. Boom, he has not had a single skin infection since then. So it just kind of blew my mind that no one had ever told him. I mean, he'd been to the either urgent care or emergency room 20 plus times at this point. Had no idea what was causing it. He just thought that was just him, So I just hate to see stuff like that. I like to help people stay well rather than try to fix them once they're sick. So I went ahead and I went back to school, got my FMACP. So I am now a certified functional medicine practitioner alongside being a pharmacist. This is where I learned more about searching for like the root cause of what's causing people's problems and what's causing their disease rather than just handing people a different pill for every symptom that they have. So it's been super fun, super rewarding. I'm really enjoying it. And that's why I'm here. I want to kind of share a lot of the knowledge that I'm learning with you guys. Okay, so what we are going to cover today is 4 things that absolutely do not work when it comes to weight loss. 4 things that you have probably already tried 100 times. We're also going to cover 8 reasons that you are not losing weight and some solutions for these problems. And we're going to cover some of my favorite weight loss hacks that are simple and easy to implement. Don't require you to be a superhero. Just your standard disclaimer here. This is for educational purposes only. I am not any of your healthcare providers yet. We'll see if any of you decide to sign up to spend a little more time with me. Oh, hold on. Oh my goodness, you guys, we've got 20 people in the waiting room. Hold on. Let me let these people in real quick. Sorry. before we get too much farther. I just don't want anyone to miss out. Okay, here we go. Admit, admit. I'm going as quick as I can. I need to get an assistant. That's what I really need in my life. One of these days. Okay, for everyone joining, you haven't missed anything. It was a very brief intro about what we're here to learn about, but you will catch up just fine. And let's keep it rolling. Okay, I think that's everybody who was waiting. Perfect. Okay. Oh no, we got one more person. Okay. All right. I think everyone's in now. Okay. Oh, one more. All right, there we go. All right, standard disclaimer. So just keep in mind that this is for educational purposes only. I am not your doctor. Do not take what I am saying here as your personal medical advice. Okay, this is for you to take back to your doctor and have a conversation with them. All right, now, obesity is not a moral failing. I want you to understand this in your bones, in your very being. It is now classified as a chronic disease for good reason. It should be. It's just like high blood pressure. It's like diabetes. This is just a chronic disease that has to be managed and that can go into remission, okay? This is not someone being lazy, right? It is not due to laziness. It is not due to lack of willpower. When you look at clinical trials, over 80% of people who lose any amount of weight gain it back and then some in a short period of time. So if you are gaining weight after losing it, you're human. Congratulations, okay? That's not due to your laziness or failure or anything like that. And another thing that I think a lot of people underestimate is how scientists can look at your genes, not know you at all, have no idea about you, and say, yes, this person probably struggles with obesity, or no, this person doesn't. It's like written into your genetic code. They can take a look at your gut microbiome. Those are the bugs that live inside of your stomach, and they can decide right then and there, yes, they probably do, or they probably don't, and they're right like 90% of the time. So you have the deck stacked against you in a lot of cases, right? It's something that you've always had to struggle with, or as you get older and your hormones change, it's something that you're suddenly struggling with out of nowhere, and all the things that worked before don't work anymore. It's not because you're lazy. All right, let's keep that in mind for sure. All right, now let's go over 4 things that definitely do not work when it comes to weight loss. Number 1 is yo-yo dieting. This is the worst of the worst. In 2021, a meta-analysis of over 250,000 people found that those who experienced weight cycling or yo-yo dieting had a 23% increased risk for developing diabetes. Going up and down in weight throws off our hormones. It is going to make our leptin go haywire, our insulin go haywire. That's why those people are more likely to experience diabetes than people of the same weight who have not been weight cycling and yo-yo dieting. This is terrible for our bodies. Now, a lot of people have heard about insulin resistance, which yo-yo dieting really contributes to insulin resistance, but they haven't heard about leptin resistance as much. So leptin is the satiety hormone that is released by our fat cells that kind of tells our body, okay, we're full, we got plenty of calories, we got plenty of fat, we can slow down. So leptin generally is a good thing, right? We want leptin. It tells our body to slow down. Well, the problem is that you can become leptin resistant the same way you can become insulin resistant. So basically, if you've got tons of leptin in your system all the time, your cells kind of become numb to it and they stop responding to it. So your cells are trying to get out the message, hey, we got plenty of calories, slow down, we don't need to eat right now, but your brain is not getting that message. So your brain in turn is sending out signals to the rest of your body saying, we're starving, we have no leptin, what's going on? Please give us more calories, give us more food. It's a really vicious cycle. So we really got to break that cycle. And I'm going to get into this more on some ways that you can break the leptin cycle and insulin resistance as well. So stay tuned for that. And also adipose tissue, our fat tissue, that's a connective tissue. So gaining and losing weight is kind of treated within our body like an injury. It's like, oh, our connective tissue is shrinking. So it responds with inflammation, which is fine if you're going to lose the weight and keep it off. You have a little inflammatory response, you get over it, that's fine. But if you're constantly going up and down and re-injuring that tissue and your body keeps responding with inflammation, you know, you can kind of get a feel for what happens there. Not good things. Oh, hold on. We got a bunch more people in the waiting room, guys. Sorry. Let me let them in. Let me let them in. It'll just take a second. Okay, I think that's everybody. Okay. All right, so the next thing that definitely does not work when it comes to weight loss is thinking that one size fits all. I tell you guys all the time, we are wonderful little snowflakes. We are all so unique. There are SNPs on gene variants that can make us prone to obesity or not. Like I just said, a scientist can look at your genetic makeup and say, yeah, this person's probably prone to obesity. If you have a mutant allele of one FTO gene, it raises your risk of being obese by 30%. That's just one gene. And there are tons of genes that factor into this, okay? There are also different lifestyles that are going to contribute to your likelihood of being obese. For example, are you someone who has plenty of leisure time and who has plenty of money to go and buy organic food and spend the money on high quality food? Then you're going to be more likely to be a normal weight. Are you a single mom working 2 jobs on a strict budget? You just don't have the time to work out, for example, and you just don't have the budget to prepare as healthy a food. That's going to be a huge restraint. And I think a lot of people discount that. They give this generic advice like, oh, buy everything organic and spend an hour a day exercising. That's not feasible for some people. That's just not the world that some people live in. So we have to keep that in account. Also, things like maternal diet and exposure to stress shapes your phenotype. This is how your genes are expressed. So this is something you have absolutely no control over. Once again, it's not your fault, but something that could have happened if your mom was under a ton of stress when she was pregnant with you, it's going to shape your phenotype to be more likely to keep on weight. The body responds to stress by keeping on weight. Stress is a way of telling your body, uh-oh, times are tough, let's save up. So even if your mom was stressed out while pregnant with you, that's going to affect you later in life, unfortunately. We also have different priorities, different taste buds, different support systems. Like, do you have a partner who's like, yeah, let's do this together, we got this? Or do you have a family who's like, stop with all that stuff, we don't care about that, we just want to eat normal food, go get us candy? That makes a huge difference in how you're going to be able to handle things, right? So one size does not fit all. Another thing that definitely doesn't work is thinking in terms of calories in, calories out. I preach about this all the time. Please look at this lovely graph. I hope you guys can see it. So this is an insulin study. So we as healthcare providers know that when someone starts insulin, they generally gain weight, right? It's just part of the process. They've got to start insulin. They've got diabetes. It's not optional, but insulin puts the weight on people. So in this study, they told people, you're going to gain weight, so we want you to decrease your calories every day. They followed these people around for 6 months, and on average, people lowered their calorie intake by about 300 calories per day. So, you're going to feel that. That's going to be difficult to do, to lower your calorie intake by 300 calories. At the end of 6 months, while cutting back on calories by 300 calories every day, the average participant gained 20 pounds. Okay, they cut calories, they gained weight. Why? Because of the insulin, because of the hormone cascade. All right, so people don't recognize this enough. The calories in, calories out is one little slice of a large pie. All right, if you've got that one slice perfectly and you're like, if I just do the math right, I got this, that is not true. All the other slices will make up for anything that you are doing. And I mean, it just makes sense logically. Like, let's say that you try to cut your weight by 500 calories per day. That means that you should lose about 1 pound per week, right? You're not going to lose 1 pound per week until you disappear and die. Why? Because your body will make up the difference. Your body starts to recognize after a couple weeks or maybe a couple months if you're lucky, hey, this is our new normal. We now just get 500 less calories per day. Let's pull these hormone levers of insulin and leptin, and now it's fine. We can live on 500 calories less per day and not lose any weight. We got this covered, right? That happens. That's your metabolism slowing. That's your hormone cascade, all of these things. So that's important to recognize. The biggest hormone that your body pulls in order to keep this homeostasis is insulin. Insulin tells your body to put sugar into your cells and store it as fat. So when insulin is high, you cannot lose weight. This is why low carb diets are effective for people to lose weight quickly. This is why intermittent fasting works. When you don't have your blood sugar levels high, then your insulin can drop. When your insulin drops, that puts you in a zone where you can actually lose weight. It's super, super important. Okay, let's see here. The next thing that doesn't work is sticking with the same diet and methods as you age. Boy, do I know about this one. And I'm sure that a lot of you do too. So I'm one of these women. Many women used calorie restrictions successfully for decades and did perfectly fine, right? They always stayed a pretty average weight, no problem. If they gain a few pounds, they just cut a couple hundred calories right back down, no big deal, right? Then perimenopause hits. That's a totally different game. You're like, whoa, I'm not hardly eating anymore, and I still keep gaining weight. And for gentlemen, it's very similar. You don't have the same, crash into a wall that women have when it comes to menopause, where your hormones just, but men slowly see their testosterone dwindle down. It's like a slow motion train wreck, right? It's not quite as traumatic all at one time, but it is very traumatic to just slowly see that testosterone slide down into nothing. And all of a sudden, the same workouts, the same food regimen just does not work anymore. You're just watching it fall away into nothing. It's so depressing, right? This is because our hormones go haywire. All of these levers are being pulled to make you gain weight, okay? Your needs can also vary depending on what you're dealing with at the time that can trigger weight gain. We already talked about stress, cortisol. When your body thinks that it is under attack and that it needs to prepare, your body is going to keep on weight no matter what you do. You could have inflammation going on in your body. This is going to keep on weight. You could have lots of things. Candida, that's another thing that causes sugar cravings. Oh, hold on, guys. I got a bunch more people in the waiting room. Let me let them in real quick here. I just don't want anyone to not get a chance to join. Everyone who's joining, welcome, welcome. You haven't missed that much. You're fine. We're just rolling right along here. And you can watch the free replay later, so don't stress. Okay, there we go. I think everybody's in. Okay. All right, so now let's move on to the good stuff. 8 reasons you are not losing weight and some solutions for you. So far, we've talked a lot about problems. We have not talked much about solutions. So number 1 is cortisol and stress. As I have alluded to multiple times, cortisol disrupts your normal insulin activity. We all know how important insulin is when it comes to weight maintenance. Cortisol also slows your digestion. This will set you up for digestive issues that can keep weight on you. SIBO, that's small intestinal bowel overgrowth, for those of you dealing with that, you know that that is just tremendous bloating all the time. You'll wake up in the morning feeling normal. By the end of the night, you look and feel pregnant. You know what I mean? That is absolutely going to cause weight gain. It can cause diverticulitis. Low motility is terrible. And guys, if you have really low motility, you could be carrying between 7 to 11 pounds of rotting fecal matter in your large colon. Like, we want to stay regular for really good reason, right? So let's get rid of the cortisol so we can help handle that. All right, cortisol also disrupts sleep. And if your sleep is disrupted, you're going to put on weight. One thing is you just make worse decisions. I know for myself, when I'm sleep deprived, I'm like, I don't care. Just give me candy, whatever. I'm just trying to make it through the day, right? So when you're well rested, you're more mentally present. You can make better decisions for yourself. Now, how can you fix stress and cortisol levels? One thing you can do is you can do testing to see where your levels are and address it once you know exactly what's going on. I think one of the best tests for this is the Dutch hormone test. It tells you about cortisol. It tells you about your adrenal hormones. It tells you about estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It also can tell you about like your B vitamin status. It has a cancer marker, some neurotransmitters. It tells you a lot about exactly what's off so you can address exactly the correct problem. But if you don't really want to go and get a fancy, expensive test, which I completely understand, do things to lower your stress. Do things like walking your dog. Being outside is really beneficial. I know this time of year that can be challenging, but literally they have done clinical trials showing that just being in nature significantly lowers your cortisol and stress levels. Doing something relaxing, reading, hanging out with your friends, whatever it is, we're all different. We all have different things that we draw energy from, right? Vagal tone exercises can also be very beneficial. So vagal tone exercises, that's basically like, it can be the chanting, the sure. I feel silly doing that. I'm never going to do that. It can be singing in your car. That is my personal favorite way to relieve stress. Singing, humming, chanting, anything that kind of gets these throat muscles going will improve your vagal tone. So now you have an excuse. Don't let anyone make fun of you singing in the car. It's for your own good, right? And then there's also pharma-GABA. This is just a supplement, you know, things like ashwagandha as well. There are supplements that can help with stress. I personally try to avoid the stress relieving prescription medications at all costs, things like benzodiazepines. There's just too many long-term side effects and risks associated with them. They're fine occasionally as needed for something like a panic attack, but it's not something that you want to turn to every day, versus there are supplements that you can take every day and not feel iffy about. You know what I mean? Okay, number 2, sleep deprivation. So sleep deprivation absolutely contributes to insulin resistance. It contributes to high glycemic variability. So this is something that we see a lot. I work a lot with moms, and I see this all the time with moms who are sleep deprived. So basically, they will prepare a dinner for themselves and the whole family, but they're all eating the same thing. They're all eating normal amounts, right? The rest of the family's doing great. Mom keeps putting on weight. That's because her sleep deprivation is through the roof, right? She's staying up late to help kids with projects. She's staying up late to clean the house. Then she's waking up early to get the kids off to school. Then she's got to run to work, da, 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 da. Everyone else is getting proper sleep and they're getting proper digestion, all of these things with the same food. She's the one who is not getting taken care of when it comes to sleep. So she's the one who's putting on weight while no one else is. How can you fix sleep deprivation? A sleep specialist is the best way, you guys. I am going to do the sleep boot camp, and I'm going to give you some wonderful hacks that can help cognitive behavioral therapy, things that involve mostly how you wake up, which actually affects how you sleep a lot. It's not going to be your typical, oh, stay in a cool, dark room, turn off your electronics, da 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 da. Everyone knows those things, okay? I want to tell you something that you might not already know that can help with your sleep. So I hope you all show up to that. But really and truly, the best way is to find a sleep specialist who can work with you one-on-one and help get you on track. And guys, try to remember that the prescription medications are barely better than a placebo, and they do put you at a higher risk for dementia. It allows your body to rest, but not your brain. It doesn't let your brain go into the deeper levels of sleep. It keeps you in the superficial stages of sleep. It's just not where we want to go with this, okay? So the best thing is to get to the root cause of what is going on. Why are you not sleeping? Are you not sleeping because of anxiety? Are you not sleeping because of your schedule? Are you not sleeping because you're waking up all night to pee because you got prostate issues? Are you not sleeping because of your digestion? What is it? Let's fix what's actually wrong instead of just drugging you into unconsciousness, right? Okay. The next thing that is holding you back is snacking and post-workout treats. I've talked about snacking many times on my social media, so you guys have probably already heard this, but snacking is really only appropriate for people who have like hypoglycemia, for example. I will see some type 1 diabetic patients who really require snacking, and some other people as well who have hypoglycemia for different reasons. But for those of us who don't struggle with this, snacking will sabotage you 10 out of 10 times, okay? Our MMC wave, that's our migrating motor complex wave, it starts about an hour after we put food into our mouths, and it doesn't complete until about 3 hours later. This is why I say try to give yourself at least 4 hours between meals so that that migrating motor complex wave can completely complete its entire thing, get your food moving, keep your motility where we want it, so that you're not backed up like we talked about earlier with constipation and all of that terrible, terrible side effects that that can bring. It's such a simple thing. If you can just think about taking what you normally eat for your snacks and combine it with your meals, most of the time you won't even eat that much. So you're going to accidentally cut calories, which can be beneficial for weight. But allowing that MMC wave to complete can absolutely change your life. This is one of the best techs out there to fix things like SIBO, for example, the small intestinal bowel overgrowth. So for those of you dealing with bloating, I'm telling you, just this alone can make a massive difference in your life. It also allows your insulin levels to drop between meals. What did we say earlier? If your insulin is chronically high all the time, you're setting yourself up for insulin resistance. You cannot lose weight. If your insulin falls between each meal like it's supposed to, that kind of gives your body a chance to be more normal, right? Instead of constantly cranked up all the time. Okay. The next thing that is holding you back is probably going to surprise some of you, but that is chronic cardio. This is something that I was guilty of when I was younger as well. Guys, definitely cardio has its place in our lives. You guys know that I try to tell you all the time, go for a quick walk every time you eat, just a couple minutes, get your bodies moving, right? Especially resistance training is super beneficial for women dealing with menopause. It helps increase your bone density, all those things. But the intense, hardcore cardio can do more harm than good. Intense cardio can be very catabolic. This means that it breaks down muscle tissue at a time when we really want to increase muscle tissue. Okay, especially as we age, that's when a lot of people start to struggle with weight. They start getting sarcopenia, men and women both, because testosterone plummets for both men and women as we get older. This is basically muscle wasting, okay? And we see it all the time. You don't see a lot of older people who are like really jacked up. That's because they've got sarcopenia, because their testosterone is in the toilet. Chronic cardio leads to a down regulation of testosterone. Why exacerbate the problem, right? In this little graph here, I hope that you guys can see that pretty well, but this is basically just a clinical trial showing they had people hooked up to, all of these fancy monitors and whatnot. And then they had some people do just zone 2 cardio, like very relaxing cardio where you can still talk and have a conversation. It's like a walk or something equivalent. And basically the benefits for that continue. Like the longer that you do it, the more benefits you see. You really can't do like too much zone 2 cardio, right? Versus the vigorous activity, that's that little dotted line. As you can see, the benefits climax between 20 and 30 minutes, and it never gets higher. So if you are doing intense exercise for more than 20 to 30 minutes, you are definitely doing more harm than good when it comes to your health and your muscles and all that. Now, some people have to do intense activity like that. We're talking about Olympic athletes, people who are training for a specific event. They are doing something for performance. I am assuming that this is none of you guys. I am assuming that you guys are exercising so that you feel good and feel healthy. So the nice thing is you can really maximize your zone 2 cardio. If you do intense exercise, keep it simple, keep it short, never more than 20 minutes. But there's a really great app out there that I love for high intensity interval training. It's free. The app is called Seven, just, the number 7, SEVEN. That is a great thing that you can use to get in a little bit of high intensity exercise without overdoing it. It limits you, right? Good stuff. And also, yeah, the zone 2 cardio, like I said, you can do as much of that as you want. So if you're like just a cardio person, you just love cardio, stick with the easier cardio because the benefits there are clear and it does not have that same catabolic activity where it breaks down your muscles. Okay, something else that can be holding you back is your hormones. We all know about this, don't we? Well, not all of you, but probably a lot of you. And if you don't know yet, you will, okay? But when our wonderful protective hormones disappear, our metabolism slows. For women, this is absolutely just suddenly hitting a brick wall. Your progesterone and estrogen just drops, and also your testosterone. For men, it is the slow, gradual decline, but we both just see our hormones start to go away. It's so sad. Now, our hormones can also get out of whack from other things. So you can be younger and have issues with hormones as well. Toxins, for example, if you're exposed to mold or something like that, that can absolutely affect your hormone levels. Chronic inflammation. So those of you dealing with chronic digestive issues, or those of you dealing with autoimmune issues, you already know what I'm talking about. Lack of sleep, we already discussed how that can affect all of your hormones, especially your cortisol. Stress, a sluggish liver that is not breaking things down quickly, that can also cause problems. This just happened recently with a patient of mine where they didn't have a gallbladder. So their liver was working overtime to make up for their gallbladder. So they had a sluggish liver. So they were getting backed up with toxins for everything else. So weirdly enough, we actually had to give her liver support and help her liver calm down and get working properly. And then everything else just normalized for her. So, it can be a lot of different things that can affect your hormones. Now, how can you fix your hormones? Obviously, finding out the specific hormones that are out of whack, especially if you're younger, like a lot of menopausal women realize, yeah, my estrogen and testosterone, progesterone, all that's probably low, right? But if you're younger and you're not exactly sure what's going on, I think a thing like a Dutch test can be very beneficial. But if you don't want to do the test, eat cruciferous veggies, you guys. This is a great hack for hormone balancing. And if you guys are in my app, you already know that the very first set of recipes that I dropped in there is all about hormone balancing. That is just full of all of the foods that are going to help keep your hormones on track, that will help maximize your hormones if you are going through age-related changes. Just foods that really help support the entire hormone system. So eat those cruciferous veggies. This is your broccoli and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, all that good stuff. Drinking filtered water. This is huge. A lot of people do not realize all of the chemicals that are in our tap water. You'll see when you download the free book that I'm giving you guys today, the 15 Things Keeping You Fat or Sick, I've got the article in there from PBS about how 50% of tap water that they tested has forever chemicals in it that stay in your body forever. That just doesn't sound good to me, right? So for me personally, we have a reverse osmosis filter. If you cannot afford that, something like a Brita filter is wonderful, you guys. That can be so beneficial. They are not expensive, but filtering your water is so much more important than you can possibly realize. Rosemary, that is another one of my favorite tips to help with hormone health. You can add rosemary to anything and everything, okay? You don't even have to taste it. Just add a little bit here and there. That is really going to support your hormone health. And also green tea. Green tea is so good for you. I absolutely hate the taste of it. I wish that I liked it because it is wonderful for you. If you can do green tea, I highly suggest that you add green tea to your routine, especially if you feel like your hormones are out of whack and that is what is contributing to your weight gain. Okay, the next thing holding you back is food sensitivities and intolerances. So once again, we already talked about inflammation. When your body feels under attack and has chronic inflammation, it's not going to let you lose weight. That is literally all the alarm bells in your body saying, uh-oh, times are bad. Hang on to every calorie. We don't know what's coming. This is a bad environment for us. We need to protect ourselves, right? So your body saves up fat for a fight. Not good. Now, how can you fix this? To be honest with you, getting food sensitivity testing is the best way to address this, because then you know exactly which foods are causing the problem for you. Now, it is possible to just do an elimination diet. That can just be challenging, right? Now, if you do an elimination diet, you have to eliminate the foods completely. That is one mistake people make. I see a lot of people who go less gluten, and it's like, no, it can't be less gluten. It has to be gluten-free to test and see if gluten is actually the offending agent, right? So keep that in mind. Less of an inflaming food is not really helpful. It needs to be none of the inflaming food. And also, I have a lot of people who come to me and say, hey, I can't eat any of these fruits or veggies because I'm sensitive to all of them. That's not good either, you guys. With a lot of these foods, basically what has happened is your body was already in an inflamed state for whatever reason. Maybe you were sick, maybe you had an allergic reaction to something, whatever. There are lots of reasons. And then you ate a certain food, your body became sensitized to it. So now your body is reacting to this food with an immune response when it shouldn't be. But if you eliminate the food short term, for 4 to 8 weeks, 8 weeks is better, to be honest with you, and allow the gut time to heal and repair, then you can slowly introduce the food back in. For most people, they're able to do that. Now, there are different things, okay? There's an IgE allergy. That is a true allergy. You are never going to be able to eat that food. That's someone who has celiac. Someone who has celiac cannot have gluten ever again, period. They're never going to get over it, right? But someone who is having an IgA or an IgG reaction, when you look at the test, they can have that food again. They just have to take a break from it, allow the gut time to heal, stop associating that food with an immune response, and then they can reintroduce it, okay? So you're not stuck on a super restrictive diet forever and ever and ever. That drives me crazy. I hate to see that. I never want you to eliminate fruits and veggies from your diet, okay? So elimination diet, testing those things. And then also probiotics can be really beneficial here. Maybe not if you have SIBO, but for most other people, probiotics are a great thing that you can do. And fiber, particularly the psyllium husk fiber, is going to be beneficial as well. Now, if you do want to do an elimination diet and see if that cuts back on your symptoms rather than do the testing, just know that the top 4 most common things that you need to eliminate that most people are sensitive to and reacting to are dairy, gluten, corn, and soy. Okay, so those are the 4 major ones. You can also be reacting to a host of other things. That's why I said testing can be really beneficial there. Okay, so the next thing that is holding you back, oh my goodness, we've got a bunch more people in the waiting room. Hold on, guys, sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm going to get an assistant who just sits here and admits people for the next one of these, so I don't have to keep interrupting us. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so the next thing that's holding you back is micronutrient deficiencies. Okay, if your body senses that it is deficient in something, it is going to send out craving signals for you. Women know this very well. For many, many women, you crave chocolate at certain points in your cycle. This is not imaginary. This is not like some psychological thing made up in your head. It's because your body is really craving magnesium and iron, both of which are very present in chocolate. And I'm sure you guys have had cravings other times, and then you taste something and you're like, wow, this really hits the spot. Whether it be for salt, a lot of time that can be an electrolyte imbalance, obviously water if you're dehydrated, or whatever. There are lots of times that our body cries out for a particular food because it's missing something and it knows what it needs. So it's sending out that craving to you. Now, we get a lot of micronutrient deficiencies in our modern world because of a lot of medications that we're taking. Oral contraceptives for my ladies, PPIs, these are the stomach medications like omeprazole or Nexium. Diabetic medications can cause micronutrient deficiencies. You guys know about metformin and B12, I'm sure. Even blood pressure medications, beta blockers can be very depleting of certain things. Antidepressants can really cause micronutrient depletion. So, and a lot of times you can't stop these medications. By no means should anyone stop their diabetic or blood pressure or antidepressant medication. I am not advocating for that. Let me make it clear. But you do need to make up for the deficiency. You know what I mean? B12 is a huge one. Anyone who comes to my pharmacy who starts metformin, I hand them B12. I'm like, you need to start taking this. Okay, you're going to get depleted. I don't want to see it. You're going to get tired. You're going to get angry. Take this, right? So please keep that in mind. There are some other common ones. Magnesium, incredibly common deficiency. I think probably most of us should just take magnesium to be safe. B12, thiamine, vitamin D. You guys know how often people are vitamin D deficient in this country. More than half of this country. I post about it all the time because it's so important. So how can you fix micronutrient deficiencies? Well, one way is testing and supplementation. That's certainly an option. You can do micronutrient testing. It's not very expensive. But the best thing is to go after the deficiency, is to figure out exactly why you're depleted and try to address that first. So something like your PPI, a lot of people don't need to take a PPI, especially if you're taking it over the counter. Have a conversation with your doctor about that. If you do have to stay on the medication, then yes, get micronutrient tested, make up for the difference. And one thing you can do, even if you don't want to do a supplement per se, eat the colors of the rainbow, you guys. If you can try to eat a different color food every day, like get in a yellow food, an orange food, a green food, a blue food, you will be amazed at what a massive impact that can have on your health. Okay, and now the last thing that is holding you back, thyroid. All right. My thyroid people know all about this already. I could do a full class on thyroid, and I'm sure that I will at some point, but very briefly, let's just discuss exactly what the thyroid does. So the thyroid regulates the metabolism, and people with hypothyroid can eat, I don't know, I put 800 calories here. You can eat even less than that and still gain weight. Like, it's wild, okay? It's crazy. I've seen it with my own eyes many, many, many times. And let me also say that TSH is not the best marker for thyroid. For some reason, that has just become the gold standard that most doctors test for. No, TSH is like, once again, one little tiny piece of the picture, all right? If you want to know what's going on with your thyroid, you need a full thyroid panel. And they're not that expensive, but often they're not covered by insurance because, guys, I will say that insurance companies in this country, they treat sick people. They do not help people maximize their wellness, okay? So out-of-pocket thyroid tests usually run about $100, $125. You know, it is what it is. Sometimes your endocrinologist can fight and argue with your insurance company and get it covered, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to pay out of pocket, unfortunately. Yeah, I have dozens and dozens of people complain to me every single day that they have all the thyroid symptoms, they check all the boxes, and yet their blood work always comes back normal because their TSH is normal. That makes me so sad. All right, how can we fix your thyroid problems? You need to get a full thyroid panel. You need to determine exactly what is wrong, and then you can fix it that way. For example, a full thyroid panel that includes the antibodies is going to let you know if you have Hashimoto's or not. If you have Hashimoto's, guys, it can go into remission. It can, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't go into full remission, you can have it so that you very much can decrease your thyroid medication so you can manage it naturally. It's basically an autoimmune process where your body is attacking your thyroid. And for some reason, modern medicine has decided that we should just sit on our hands and let people's thyroids be completely destroyed by their own immune system and then step in and give them thyroid medication. Like, it just blows my mind. It makes no sense to me. You can stop the inflammation process. You don't have to let it get to that point. So if you've got Hashimoto's, that's actually good. That means that there are tons of things that we can do completely naturally without medication in order to address it. If you don't have Hashimoto's, you probably are going to end up taking thyroid medication for the rest of your life. Just being realistic with you, because it's not your autoimmune system that is attacking your thyroid. It's some other reason that your thyroid is not making the hormones that it should. But yes, you can absolutely get thyroid supplements, lifestyle modifications. You can get thyroid medication, all of these things, whatever it takes to get your thyroid back on track so it's making the right hormones and chemicals so that you can actually start losing weight again. All right, now let's move on to my favorite hacks when it comes to losing weight. I've got lots of these. All right, so the first one that you see there is NEAT, fidgeting. What does this mean? So NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, this just means any activity that you're doing that's not like purposeful exercise, right? So it's crazy when you look, they've actually done trials of this. People who fidget, people who are just like bouncing their legs or whatever, they burn significantly more calories and are more likely to be normal weight. So this is a great, easy, cheap, free hack anyone can do anytime, right? And that's like one of the things that I showed you guys for those with limited mobility while you're sitting. Just kind of, flex your calf muscles, move your legs up and down, just trying to make things like this a normal part of your life. It doesn't feel like it's much, but it is. Over long term, if you're constantly fidgeting, you're going to be burning a lot more calories. And NEAT can include things, not just fidgeting, but also yard work, walking, housework, picking up your kids. Anything that you do, you can make it a little bit more active. That is going to significantly help, okay? Another hack, don't eat after dinner. I know this can be painful for some people, but this is probably like the number one hack out there. This is really kind of why intermittent fasting is so successful. Not eating after dinner is key. This is the biggest binge time for most people. If you can readjust your schedule to eat earlier, it is crazy what it can do. One study that I saw followed people who eat only 2 meals a day. This is just what they do, right? And the people either always eat breakfast and lunch and skip dinner, or they always eat lunch and dinner and skip breakfast. And the two different groups of people that were eating approximately the same calories, I mean, this is just their normal diet, so it wasn't controlled. It was more like an observational study. But the people who ate breakfast and lunch, for the most part, were very healthy people with like normal weights, just like, had it going on. And the people who skipped breakfast and ate lunch and dinner were far more likely than average to be obese. They were far more likely to have high blood pressure. They were far more likely for like all of the negative health outcomes that we see. And what's the difference? Literally just the timing. That's it. You know what I mean? Now, I said it's not exact. It wasn't a controlled clinical trial where they said, okay, we know that everyone's eating exactly 2,000 calories. No, but they were approximately equivalent. The major difference was just the time. Okay. So that's huge, 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 huge. I know it's hard for people to wrap their heads around, but if you are capable of making that switch, it is an absolute game changer. All right, the next hack is intermittent fasting. Truthfully, intermittent fasting, I say that just because it's what everyone knows, but really it's time-restricted eating. Basically the same thing as the previous tip. So myself personally, what I do is I fast for 16 hours out of the day and I eat in an 8-hour window. I start my 8-hour window at about 8 a.m. I end it at about 4 p.m. It doesn't have to be totally exact, you guys. I know people get like really specific about things, whatever, approximations are fine. But it's all about basically letting the insulin levels drop, for that whole period of time that you're fasting. It's about not snacking mindlessly, just binging after dinner, which is so common. It's about just keeping to this certain window. And it really helps your mindset, I'll be honest with you, because you're not calorie restricting. You're not obsessively counting calories. It's really beneficial to help people who are recovering from like, eating disorders, things like that, where they're not obsessively tracking all of these things. You eat what you want, but you just eat it in that 8-hour window. You just make a hard rule. I don't eat anything after 5 p.m. ever, period. That's it. It's a simple rule. You know what I mean? So it can really help you switch your mindset and help make weight loss feel a lot easier and a lot less restrictive. Okay, another hack is to increase your fiber and your protein intake. This is especially beneficial if your hormones are plummeting. If you are losing testosterone and estrogen and you are now experiencing muscle wasting, sarcopenia, you're not as strong as you used to be, even when you're doing the same things, increase your protein, okay? And increasing your fiber and your protein are going to help you feel full for longer. It is going to prevent you from snacking in between meals. It is going to help prevent you from feeling deprived. I can tell you that when I increased my protein, I went from eating like 10 to 20 grams of protein per day to eating about 100. My goodness, I am stuffed. Like literally every time that I go to eat my next meal, I'm like, oh my God, it's time to eat already. I'm never hungry because I'm just eating so much protein and fiber. My meals now are based around those whole foods. And then I just add in little things on the side and I never feel deprived. I never feel hungry, so increase that fiber, increase that protein. As far as fiber goes, women should be getting at least 25 grams per day. Men should be getting at least 35 grams per day. As far as protein, there are a lot of opinions out there. For me personally, I go for 100 grams daily. A lot of people think that's insane. I think that, oh gosh, the FDA recommends that women get like, I want to say about 40 to 50 grams per day and men slightly more. So opinions vary on that, but protein is good in general, unless you have like chronic kidney disease or something like that. If that's you, always make sure you check in with your doctor because you are a special case. Another really cool hack that I love is Chronometer. Absolutely free app. It tracks your macros for you, so it keeps track of your protein, your fiber. I love this app. It's super easy to use. You can actually just scan the barcode of most of your foods. And then you can also put a little note in there. I know you guys, this is going to get gross. I'm sorry, it's important, but I just add a little note that keeps track of my bowel movements for the day as well. It's important to keep track, you guys. You want to know when something gets a little off in your system. You want to catch things early instead of waiting until it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't gone for a week. What do I do? Let me run to the pharmacy at 3 a.m. and ask the pharmacist what to do. I get a lot of those cases, okay? So don't be that person. Keep track. Know what's happening before it becomes a real problem. Another wonderful hack. This really improves your insulin sensitivity. So it improves your health as well as your weight. That is walking for 2 minutes every single time that you put food in your mouth. As soon as you are done eating, immediately start walking or something equivalent. If you're not able to walk, move your arms, whatever. Something nice and easy, just 2 minutes of your time, okay? They have multiple clinical trials showing that literally this tiny little bit of exercise will bring down your blood glucose spikes, will help your insulin levels stay nice and normal. It's just so beneficial for your body. And guys, you do not want to deal with insulin resistance, okay? That is one step away from type 2 diabetes. You don't want to go down that path if you can help it. So doing these little hacks, I know that you can give me 2 minutes every time you eat, okay? That's not that much. Even busy working moms can do that. I know, because I'm a busy working mom, and I walk for 2 minutes every single time I eat. You got this, okay? Something else that you can do is adding in strength training. A lot of men are usually on board with this. I don't usually have to fight with men. Men are like, absolutely, let's go. A lot of women are very resistant to strength training, and you don't need to be. It's not going to make you look like super buff and crazy. I can tell you, I do a lot more strength training than I do cardio. I have never been accused of looking manly ever in my life, okay? And I lift heavy. I'm hip thrusting like, I'm hip thrusting about 200 pounds now. Yeah, I go for it, right? And I don't look bulky. I don't look heavy. You're not going to start looking manly. I promise. It's just going to help improve your muscle tone. It is going to help literally everything. Okay. I love resistance training. Do it safely, start low, go slow, and then you will be shocked at how much you can improve. When I first started resistance training, I could curl like 3-pound weights, and now I do 30 pounds. You know what I mean? But that has taken years to get there. So don't think you're going to jump right in and start curling 30 if you're, on the smaller side. Another wonderful hack is 30, 30, 30. So I don't know if any of you know about Tim Ferriss, but he's a really famous guy who popularized the 4-hour work week. I think that's what he does, whatever. So he's really good at finding these hacks that take the smallest amount of time, but have the best benefit, right? So he came up with this. It's phenomenal. I love it, especially for older people starting to experience weight gain out of nowhere. Basically, this means that within 30 minutes of waking up, you eat 30 grams of protein, and then you do 30 minutes of zone 2 nice and easy cardio. Okay, so 30, 30, 30 is wonderful because it just basically gets you in the right zone. So in the morning, your cortisol spikes naturally. It's supposed to. That's part of your circadian rhythm. That is the best time to eat, and that is the best time to eat high protein. For some reason in this country, we tend to be totally backwards. We want to eat a super carb-heavy breakfast. It's like all cereals and toast. No, this is the time to get in your protein, okay? It works with your cortisol naturally in order to maximize your entire day. And then that zone 2 cardio, that's basically going to help even out any blood sugar spikes. It's just going to boost your metabolism for the whole day, set you up for success. I love 30, 30, 30. All right. And now my last hack, and I'm always hesitant to discuss these things because I don't want anyone to think that you can keep doing everything that you're doing exactly the same and take a pill and be good to go. That's never going to work, okay? But there are some supplements that can help you on your journey if you are also doing the work. These are not magic pills, okay? Do not think that you can just pop this pill and start burning more calories and losing weight. That is not going to happen. But if you're starting to do things like walking after eating, if you've stopped eating after dinner, if you start doing these other things, and then you want to add in a little support, that is where these can be beneficial. So that is the weight management protocol. It basically supports you, helps you overcome some of the barriers that we talked about earlier, like leptin resistance. There's actually a supplement that can help you overcome some of that leptin resistance. And these are all designs for health because that's my new obsession. You guys know I've been talking about it on Facebook a lot. I just love it because they're all third-party tested. So I no longer have to hunt down on labdoor.com and on Consumer Labs and all these other places trying to figure out who actually has the ingredients that they say they do inside the bottle. So that's pretty cool. But I did put together a little weight loss protocol. And one of them is like one of the things inside the protocol are weight loss support packets. This has 3 different supplements in it, and they all come in one packet, which is nice. So you can just like carry around the packet instead of like 3 giant bottles everywhere you go. One of the things that is in the weight loss support packets is EndoTrim. That is the supplement that helps with leptin resistance. So if you think that you've got leptin resistance going on, EndoTrim is the thing that you want to look for there. It also has an anti-inflammatory benefit. It has antioxidants that can help protect your body from free radical damage. It's got like the green tea in it, which is the only way that I can take green tea. I can't drink the stuff. I wish I could. And it also has GABA, which is great for stress, all of that good stuff, right? Another supplement that is inside the weight loss support packet is carnitine synergy. You guys have probably already heard about carnitine because it's really helpful for sports performance and for fatigue. So this is going to kind of help support your workouts, right? Especially, once again, carnitine is something I can usually get men on board with right away. Women are like, I don't really need like carnitine and creatine. No, you do. I promise you do. And then another one of the things that is inside the weight loss support packets is the thermo effects. This basically can just kind of help boost your basal metabolic rate. So it's just going to kind of give you a little bit of an edge. But once again, guys, don't think that you can take this supplement and your basal metabolic rate is going to be through the roof and you can eat 500 more calories. No, it's just like a little bump. You know what I'm saying? It's not like life-changing if you don't do any other work. Another thing that I included in the weight loss support protocol is Probiomed 50. This is just a really good probiotic. You guys know that I like to take a probiotic booster from time to time. No, I don't take one every day because they're really expensive. I'll do a booster like once every probably 3 months now is the schedule that I'm on. I wanted to start 2024 off right, so I'm currently taking Probiomed 50 myself. But yeah, it just basically has all kinds of really beneficial bacteria that were studied in clinical trials to make sure that they actually do support your digestion. I love clinical trials. You guys know I'm all about science. I'm that nerdy kind of gal. So that just really gets me excited. It's got Bifidobacterium lactis. That is the bacteria that is known to help with weight support generally. It also contains strains that are shown to benefit gut health, immune health, proper digestion and elimination, mucosal health, good stuff. And another thing I included, this is kind of more specific. A lot of people might not need this. You can just take this out of the link that I'm going to give you. But that I also included mood stasis, just because I get a lot of requests for this. This is for people who get in a lower mood in the evening and they kind of snack to feel better, right? This is going to kind of help with your dopamine, your serotonin. It's going to just help prevent people who are snacking to feel good at night, if that makes sense. It's also got the folate and the vitamin B12. These play really important roles in synthesis and regulation of dopamine and serotonin. It's got methylated B vitamins that are going to enhance their bioavailability, which is nice. It also has scalentium. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's something that has been used for a long time by indigenous people in different areas of the world to help with stress relief, to help with winding down in the evening. So I personally think the mood stasis is beneficial. I don't use it myself, but I have suggested it to multiple of my patients, and they're like, yes, finally, I wasn't just like sad snacking in the evening, I just could kind of relax and not snack all night long. So that is for people who need that in particular. I am going to go ahead. There you go. So this is my new website, regenesisrx.com. If you go under the education section of the website, that's where you're going to find the free ebook. That's 15 things keeping you fat or sick. I only went over 8 here because, oh my goodness, we're already at an hour. I knew I couldn't do all 15 and not make this like a 3-hour-long webinar. So you're going to see a few extra things in that ebook. So I highly suggest that you go ahead and grab that copy in the education tab. You will also see the weight management protocol. I literally just put it all in one link. So you can go ahead and take out the mood stasis if you don't need it, take out the probiotic if you've already got a good probiotic at home, whatever. But if you're interested in that, all of that is right there. So, and that's also where the playback for this video is going to be. Right now, you'll see a section there that says, oh, click here to watch the webinar. It's not up yet. I've got to wait for it to process through Zoom, and then I'll put the link in later. But if you've got friends, family, whoever, people who couldn't make the webinar today, you can let them know and they can watch this if interested. Oh, and I've got some testimonials here. I just got these turned in actually, so I'm really excited about them. But as you guys know, I recently launched my practice, Regenesis RX, where I work with you one-on-one. And I do have, if you want to check out the program section, I do talk about my programs. You can book a free 15-minute consult if you're interested in purchasing a program. But I'm offering the free 15-minute consult because I'm not going to be able to help everyone. So I don't want anyone to go and buy a package without me talking to you first and making sure that it actually makes sense. I don't have prescribing power, guys, across state lines. I'm not gonna be able to prescribe medication. So if you're someone who needs thyroid medication, for example, I'm not gonna be able to do that for you. So I don't want someone to sign up for a program thinking, oh yeah, I need help with my thyroid, boom. No, I wanna talk to you first. I wanna make sure that it actually makes sense for us to work together. But there are a lot of things that you can do just with lifestyle, just with learning tips and tricks like the ones I taught you today, even just with supplementation, whatever. And it's been really rewarding. I have to say that so far I've just been helping patients locally right here in Florida. I'm just like today launching where I can help all of you guys. Man, it's been fun. It's been a blast. Just seeing people's lives change, getting in, because I just turned around and asked everyone, hey, if I've helped you, would you mind sending me a testimonial? So they all started sending me these testimonials, and it's been so cool. So you guys can, you can read those there if you want. This one was really long, but I didn't want to take any of it out because she had so many nice things to say, right? I didn't want to shut her down. So, but yeah, super, super fun stuff. And it's interesting. I've been helping a lot of people with digestive issues, which is weird because I've never had digestive issues. I thought I would be helping a lot of people with perimenopause, because that's something I'm personally going through, helping people with sugar addiction, because that's something I've struggled with. But most of the time I've been helping people with digestion. So, it's been a fun adventure. And now I will go ahead and open up for some questions. Let me just hold on here. Let me see if oh no. I'm going to see if I can stop screen sharing so you guys can see me again if you'd like. Okay, stop the share. There. Am I back? Can you guys see me again? Okay, I see nodding heads. Great. Oh my goodness, we got more people in the waiting room. Let me let them in real quick. And now let me open up the chat and see what questions, because I couldn't see anything while I was doing the show. So let me see. Here we go. Where is the chat? Sorry, guys. I'm still learning how to do this. Don't mind me. Oh, here we go. Chat. Perfect. I found you. Okay, let's go. What is the best for very, very dry skin on ankles and elbows? Oh my goodness, boy, I sure do love the Eucerin Advanced Repair Cream. I did a video about it recently on social media. So good for so many things. I use it because I have the keratosis pilaris, those little white bumps, but also just really, really dry skin in winter. That will make your skin like butter. Okay, I highly recommend it. And then over top of that, I go ahead and I add a really, really thick moisturizer. I use the Cetaphil cream. Okay, so if you've got really dry skin, avoid lotion. Go for cream. Go for something that, like, when you dump the tub out, it stays in the top of the tub, right? So that's the best tip I got there. Let's see. What is your opinion regarding the keto gummies, those celebrity killers? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Okay, so apple cider vinegar can be really beneficial. For sure. Actually, that's probably another hack I should have included here. But if you get 3 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, mix it in some water, swig that right before a meal, that will absolutely help you to lose weight. It's going to help you to eat less. We see this proven in clinical trials. It can also help with insulin resistance. Yay, all good things. We don't necessarily see the same benefit with gummies. I am not a fan of gummies in general, you guys, because when I look at clinical trials of gummies, a lot of times the results are a little scary. For example, I saw a trial with melatonin gummies where basically they tested the gummies, and like one gummy had 1 milligram of melatonin, another one had 15 milligrams of melatonin. They're all supposed to be a 10 milligram melatonin gummy. But because of like the way that the medicine mixes in with the gummy and then the way it all hardens and everything, it's just not consistent. It's not like a capsule where they can just, you know, make sure that things are more even. So that's scary to me. I try to avoid gummies at all costs. I know sometimes you might have to, especially for kids and whatnot, but I think it's better to do chewable. Chewable is a lot better regulated, more even and all that. And they don't have to do crazy things to medications to make them chewable. They got to do crazy stuff to make a gummy. You know what I mean? That gelatin thing, it's not good. So I'm not a fan. All right, can you tell me what vitamins are required after bariatric sleeve surgery? It's very patient specific, Sherry. I mean, in general, you're going to get depleted in most things. So magnesium is huge, B12 is huge, which B12 is better if you just do like the sublingual anyway, in my personal opinion. It's not very bioavailable orally. Those are huge. I mean, gosh, honestly, everything, but it just depends. When that is one case where I would do micronutrient testing, to be honest with you. And it's not that expensive. Like I said, you can ask your doctor if they're willing to do that. Vitamin D, definitely vitamin D, even calcium, but I hate to supplement calcium unless absolutely necessary, because we know that a lot of times the calcium doesn't actually go to your bones. Unfortunately, it can go to your arteries and cause issues. So yeah, I mean, try to eat the rainbow. Honestly, in the case of bariatric sleeve surgery, a multivitamin isn't a bad idea. And you know, normally I hate multivitamins, but in that particular case, it might be warranted just because your absorption is going to be so affected that it can be beneficial. So, oh my goodness, Carla, sending good vibes your way. Oh, thank you, Jen. What test is that? Dutch? Yes, absolutely. Is the Dutch test administered by a physician or is it OTC? Well, if you can find a physician who will do it, yes. I personally do it. It's not OTC. You would have to find a provider who does it. But yeah, you know, I think like for me, I personally just did a Dutch test just because I'm going through perimenopause. I started taking estrogen, the estradiol patch, all of that good stuff. So I just want to keep an eye on everything. Not everyone is as paranoid as me. I will say that so far, most of the patients that I've had in practice, decided to forego testing. The Dutch test, for example, I think it's like $320. So it's very expensive. So most of them were like, I don't need a test. I know I got problems, just fix the problems. Okay, we can do that, right? But for me and for people like me who like want to see it in black and white and know exactly, the option is there, right? Unfortunately, a lot of these tests aren't covered by insurance. Just like I said, for the thyroid test, your insurance will cover your TSH. It doesn't care about anything else. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Welcome to modern medicine. I heard you discuss antidepressants. I need help getting off of Lexapro. I'm concerned because I've been on it for nearly 8 years and I've heard it should not be used long term. I've got myself down to 10 from 25 at each time. I'm trying to get off terrible insomnia. My family doctor has been much help. Okay, Jen, so you don't necessarily have to get off the Lexapro. If the Lexapro is working wonderfully for you, you really don't have to. Antidepressants certainly have their place in therapy. I am not I'm not against antidepressants. I was going to say anti-antidepressants, but that's a little weird. Now, if it's giving you some type of side effect that you're not happy with and you want to switch for that reason, that's perfectly fine. But I'm not someone who's saying, oh, everything should be all natural. No one should take medications. Not at all, you guys. I'm a pharmacist for a reason. Okay, I got into this career originally because I'm a big believer that prescription medications can really benefit people, right? It's just that I think that they tend to be overprescribed. At least some of them are. And they're prescribed willy-nilly without looking at the reason for why we need it in the first place. Because a lot of times if we take a couple steps back and fix the original problem, then we don't have to get out here to where we're using this. But with something like mood disorders, oftentimes antidepressants are warranted. So yeah, I mean, if it's doing okay for you, I wouldn't stress about it. If you want to get off of it, yes, you're doing the right thing, slowly weaning down. As far as insomnia, the most evidence-based thing out there is cognitive behavioral therapy, is seeing a sleep specialist, a sleep therapist. So I know people don't like that answer. They just want a pill, but insomnia pills aren't that effective. You know what I mean? Supplements and medications, they both perform slightly better than a placebo. I think that it can be useful to use sleep supplements while you're also doing the work, just to kind of give you that little bit of an edge. I think that's what supplements are good for. They're good for like jump starting you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's get you in the right frame. Let's set you up for success. And then they're mostly short term. Like there are some like omega-3 and vitamin D. I'm going to use that supplement every day for the rest of my life. But most of them I have used short term to get me through a time period, if that makes sense. Is swimming zone 2 cardio? Okay, so Melanie, swimming can be zone 2 cardio. It can be zone 2, or it could be more intense. It depends on how you're swimming. So if you're swimming and still able to basically have a conversation, I don't know how much you can have a conversation while swimming, but you know what I mean? If you're able to like breathe normally, you feel fine, then yes, it's zone 2. If you're swimming more quickly, more intensely, then you're probably getting into zone 3 or 4. I only drink spring water for the past 20 plus years, plus my 3 dogs. Awesome, Wendy. Love to hear it. That's great. That is good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Drinking water, it's a little scary. Jasmine green tea. Is dried rosemary effective? Yes, dried rosemary can be just as beneficial as fresh in order to help you balance your hormones. Absolutely. PPI or proton pump inhibitors? Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Need to learn other recipes besides chicken, turkey, beef, can't have fish, and don't want to eat pasta to reduce sugar. Well, Marcia, I believe that you are an app subscriber, right? So you are going to be getting so many recipes. Trust me. And I already released the sugar detox recipes within the app, even though I'm not doing that class for another 2 weeks, just so you got the jump start. But yeah, trust me, you're going to be getting recipes every month. They're great recipes. They're delicious. And you're going to love them. And yeah, you're going to learn a lot about all different ways to prepare food. What app? Yes, Chronometer. Thank you so much. Lots of information. Thank you. Yeah. What is the third 30? Okay, so within 30 minutes of waking up, that's the first 30. Eat 30 grams of protein. That's the second. And then do 30 minutes of zone 2 cardio. Oh, look, Dana answered it for me. Thank you. What is the website where I don't have to hunt ingredients? Oh yeah, Pharmacist Jamie's Tips is my website. Since I can't do probiotics due to SIBO, what should I do? Okay, Marcia, you really should be doing a SIBO protocol. So you really need to, basically meal spacing is one of the most beneficial things for SIBO. Absolutely 100%. Other things, I mean, let me just talk to you one-on-one, Marcia. Since you're an app subscriber, I'll send you a message and then you can just like message me privately. because there are tons of things that you can do for SIBO. But since it isn't a SIBO class, I don't really want to like go into the whole spiel here because this is more weight loss, but we'll definitely be in communication. What helps with snacking at night? So the mood stasis can help. And then also just kind of shifting your mindset, making sure that your last meal of the day has plenty of fiber and protein. That's going to keep you full for hours. I can testify to this. And then really it's just a question of shifting your mindset. And guys, the way that these hormones work in your body that make you hungry is they spike at the normal time that you eat, and then they drop off. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that because I've done a lot of intermittent fasting in my life. I've done the intermittent fasting where you do it for days at a time, as well as what I'm doing now. And people think as soon as they get hungry, they're like, oh no, I got to eat. And like you run to eat right away, which is totally normal, right? But if you just don't eat, literally 20 minutes later, that hungry feeling just disappears. So at that point, basically your body taps into like your fat reserves and uses that to feed itself. And that's why you're not hungry anymore. So that's how fasting works when you do it for days at a time. And that's how it works if you don't eat anything after dinner, and you normally do. For the first couple of days, you're going to feel hungry, but not for long, for about 20 minutes, and then it goes away. After a couple days, that's it. Your body no longer produces that ghrelin at that time frame. The ghrelin is the hormone that makes you hungry. It's just not going to do that anymore. It's like, we never eat at this time. Why would we expect food? It's just not our thing, So yeah, so really it's a mindset shift as well as these other things. I still got a few people coming in the waiting room. The name of my website is Regenesis RX. Regenesis is spelled Regenesis. Regenesis, I think I spelled that right. I don't know. RegenesisRx.com. Okay, so I am supposed to not eat for an hour after taking my thyroid meds. How can I change up 30-30-30? Yeah. Oh, here we go. I was in the same boat and switched to taking my thyroid at night, but you have to make sure you stop eating and you don't take calcium. Yes, Jennifer is 100% correct. Absolutely. Yes. You can take them before bed. Heidi, yes. Wonderful. They answered it for me. Okay. You got your answer. I really can't add anything to that. They said it perfectly. Oh, thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate you. That is awesome. Thanks so much. A lot of information. I'm appreciative. Oh, wonderful. Awesome. What do you recommend for sugar addiction? Ooh, Robert, let me tell you, I am an expert. Honestly, most people who have sugar addiction, I would say 8 times out of 10, it's candida. It's a candida overgrowth. My husband and I, and here I am a healthcare provider, I've helped him with a lot of things in the past. I really didn't know much about candida until I went back to school and got my FMACP. And oh, bless you. I'm not sure who that is, but bless you. I got my FMACP and I learned all about candida, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what my husband and I have. And for those of you who are app subscribers, just wait. In 2 weeks, I'm going to send you out a candida quiz. Once you take this quiz, you're going to know right away if you've got or not. You don't even have to do the test. There is a candida test. It costs like $300. Did I do the test? No, because I know for sure I had it. And then I followed the candida protocol. Boom, it solved all of my problems. My husband as well. My husband had a chronic sinus infection for like 4.5 years. He took multiple rounds of antibiotics, prednisone, everything. Nothing killed it. Then we found out it was yeast. It was candida causing the sinus infection, and now it's gone. So, it's just incredible the things that you learn as you live, right? But for most people, it's a yeast that is causing them to crave sugar that way. And basically, you need to kill off the candida, and the sugar cravings just absolutely disappear overnight. It's wild. And then like my husband. So my husband's normally a small guy. He weighs 110 pounds. He's a jockey. Once he did the candida protocol, he stopped eating all sugar. And that was so much of what he ate before because he had candida so bad that he dropped to 106 pounds with like no effort whatsoever. And he was like, I just don't know what to eat. Like I normally just eat candy and now I just don't know what to eat. Like, it was so funny. But yeah, it's been an adventure for both of us for sure, figuring all of that out. So yeah, kill the candida. That's what you got to do. Robert, I really hope you're an app subscriber because I'm going to talk all about that in 2 weeks when I do the sugar addiction and other things as well. It could be other things. But we're going to go over all of that in a couple weeks. So I really hope that you'll be there. Arthritis, what helps? Oh, lots of things can help. Certainly anything anti-inflammatory. Staying moving helps. A lot of people don't realize that. They think that arthritis is like your joint wearing out and your cartilage disappears because it's worn out. But what arthritis actually is your joint is constantly replacing itself. So yeah, your joint is constantly wearing out and then rebuilding. And arthritis is when your joint can no longer rebuild new cartilage. And that happens basically due to lack of movement, because the synovial fluid in your joints, it doesn't have any blood vessels going to it. So in order for your body to get the things that it needs to make new cartilage, to get all those materials, all of that oxygen, all that, the synovial fluid has to be moving to carry those nutrients from the bloodstream into the joint. So if people stop moving, so a lot of times you'll see arthritis set into old injuries because the joint was injured, it couldn't be moved for a while, so it could heal, boom, arthritis sets in. So that's really common. But yeah, so keeping your joint moving, seeing an occupational or physical therapist can be really beneficial. Anti-inflammatory things, for sure. Omega-3, turmeric, those are number 1 and 2 right there. You guys know that turmeric performs as well as NSAIDs in clinical trials. So I would say those are probably the most beneficial things. My husband is a professional athlete. He takes turmeric every day. He loves it. He says it's changed so much. He's got arthritis in both of his hands. He's like, I just don't feel anything anymore. So great info. Love it. Need to know how to stop sugar cravings, not candy, but foods like pasta and cereals. Absolutely, Marcia. Yes, you and I are going to talk. I'm going to message you right after this for sure. Oh, thank you so much, Joni. I appreciate you. You guys are so sweet. I want to apply for your 15-minute consult. Absolutely, Marcia. Hop on the website. Yeah, hop on there and book it. I've already got because a couple people, I told them in the app ahead of time, and I've already had, I think 5 or 6 people book 15-minute consults before I even officially went live on here. So it's pretty exciting. Book them up now because I don't know how the availability will be, but I will say that for the month of January, I am doing a sale because everyone wants to restart everything in January. So right now to book a program is $1,200 up front. The price is going to jump up after January, just warning you guys. So if you want to do it in January. Best magnesium type to heal the liver. Melanie, magnesium glycinate is the best overall in general for everything. As far as healing the liver, I would say that something like NAC is more beneficial for that. Milk thistle. I really like the supplements that combine multiple things like NAC and milk thistle and magnesium. That would be the hepatotone from Designs for Health. Livitone is another one that I've seen. I'm not exactly sure who makes the Livitone, but I know I saw that supplement before and I was like, oh, this has some really good ingredients in it. So yeah, I would use something that's got a combination like that just kind of provides overall general support. What was the name of the product? Oh, that's Mood Stasis. And if you guys go to the weight loss protocol and click that button, it'll put them all right there in front of you. And then you just take out what you don't want. But the one for late night snacking in particular is Mood Stasis. So if you just want the Mood Stasis and not the other 2, click that link, take the other 2 out. You know what I mean? Love intermittent fasting. Yes. Lost weight that way and counting fiber, protein, fats. Absolutely. Yes, Gina. Can you use the estrogen patch if you have breast cancer and siblings and a few scares myself? Okay, Anita, so definitely chat with your doctor, but I will say that in clinical trials, the estrogen patch does not increase your risk of cancer at all. So statistically, according to trials, it does not increase your risk of cancer. But it's always best to check in with your healthcare provider, your particular situation. I have no idea exactly, what the scares are that you have dealt with. Oral estrogen is definitely out of the question for you, and also oral progesterone. So yeah, it just kind of depends on exactly what you've got going on there. But according to the data, the patch does not increase your risk, which is nice. Oh, thank you, Joe. Definitely take apple cider vinegar with water. Yeah, I used to take it straight as I don't mind the flavor, but later was having throat problems. Turned out they were due to ACV burning my throat. Oh, there you go. Wonderful, Adrian. Thank you so much for that tip. Absolutely, guys. Anything can cause inflammation in your system. Even foods, like we said earlier, sometimes you have to cut out a food that's a good beneficial food for a short period of time because your body has started reacting to it with an immune response. And yeah, ACV can absolutely trigger that as well because it is literal vinegar. So when you mix it with water, it changes the pH and makes it so it's not so acidic, won't have that same burning issue. And I hope that it's helped you, Adrian, using it with the water. I love ACV. That's one of my favorite hacks because it's super cheap. But yeah, definitely use it appropriately and with caution. Started Wellbutrin to stop smoking, felt so good on it after I quit. I continue taking it for depression. Absolutely, Sharon. I love Wellbutrin. That's probably my favorite antidepressant just because it's so interesting pharmacologically. But yeah, you can take antidepressants long term. We haven't seen increased risk of anything with Wellbutrin, really. That's another thing I love about it. The sexual side effects are actually positive. It increases your libido instead of lowering it. Very cool, right? So yeah, big fan of Wellbutrin over here. And if it's doing great for you, good for you. Okay, thoughts on applying Lugol's iodine to forearm, minimal amounts used. Can that help reverse thyroid issues? Okay, so it kind of depends. So basically, when it comes to thyroid, sometimes people are deficient in iodine, and that is causing their thyroid to not function properly. This was actually the main reason for thyroid problems back before we had iodized table salt. That's why your table salt is iodized, because people were getting like massive goiters and huge thyroid problems. We figured out, oh, if we add a little iodine to table salt, boom, it disappears. So for most people, iodine deficiency is not what is causing their thyroid. Most people in the developed world. Now, in the undeveloped world where they do not have iodized table salt and they're inland away from the sea, yes, iodine deficiency absolutely is still the number one cause. But so for most of us, if you're eating any amount of iodized table salt or something, the Lugol's iodine is probably not going to help you. Now, rubbing it on your forearm, you're probably getting like minimal absorption, so it's probably not going to harm you either. But in general, I'm not a fan of adding in iodine supplements just because you can get hyperthyroid too quickly. If you've got way too much iodine going on, then you can go the other way. And we don't want that. We want you like right in the happy zone, right in the optimal, you know what I mean? So I'm always hesitant when it comes to iodine. In your forearm, probably not as big of a deal, but I would definitely check in with your doctor. If starting omega-3, thoughts on omega-3 6-9 combo? Okay, Dana, I mean, yeah, you could do the 3-6-9 combo. I personally just do the omega-3 because I know that I get so much of the other in my diet, right? And generally in the SAD, that's the standard American diet, we get plenty of omega-6, omega-9. We don't really need it, but it also depends on your diet. Like if you're vegetarian, for example, yeah, you might want to go ahead and get 3-6-9. So it just kind of depends on your particular situation. For most of us eating a standard American diet, omega-3 is all we need. Any home remedies that help with arthritis pain? Yes. So, you know, they're not really home remedies, they're supplements, the turmeric and the omega-3. But if you want to increase your use of spices that can help with inflammation, absolutely add turmeric to everything. Turmeric, it's like the main thing in curry, go for it. Honestly, like any of those peppers, for some reason, they tend to be anti-inflammatory. In my mind, that's very counterintuitive because I think like spicy, peppery, hot, inflammation. But for some reason, it actually works the opposite in our bodies. So yeah, add some spices to your dishes. Like I said, try to keep the joint active, you know, in a thoughtful way. You don't want to be doing this unsupervised without any type of guidance on how you should be moving the joint. So getting specific tips from an occupational or physical therapist can be really beneficial. But yeah, but I would say those are the biggest things that you could do at home. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Thank you. All right. You're right about adding dessert with meal to help with cravings at night. No deprived. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the biggest keys to long-term weight maintenance is making sure that you're on something that you can do forever and feel good about. These, you know, 21-day fixes, 30-day, whatever, it's just really not helpful because, yeah, anyone can do anything for 30 days. Like when people have trouble losing weight, it's not because they're lazy slobs who are just not capable of following a program. It's because no one wants to go hungry and feel deprived every single day for the next 50 years. You know, no one signs up for that. No one is like, yeah, that's the life for me, right? That's just human nature, okay? So all of these hacks are trying to do little things to shift your mind, to shift whatever, so that you can make weight loss sustainable. Protein for vegetarian. Yes, Janice. There are tons of ways you can get protein. Obviously, there are like the imitation meats, which I think there are some really good dupes out there. The Impossible Burger, I had one of those and I thought it was pretty good. Definitely tofu, chickpeas are a good source. Nuts are a good source. There are plenty of ways to get protein if you're vegetarian. You just have to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. And you also usually have to supplement like your iron and your B12, for example. So, and I have plant-based recipes coming out in the app soon. I don't think it's next month, but maybe like a month or two after that. Some great info. Thank you. I was critically low in vitamin D for years, which I think contributed to cortisol. Absolutely. And respiratory ear issues. I gained weight with all those meds and haven't been able to undo that weight, even though the vitamin D is good now. Yeah, Sherry, for sure. Vitamin D, being deficient in vitamin D is just terrible for everything, but it can contribute to weight gain. It contributes to pain. It contributes to immune system dysfunction. It contributes to digestive issues. It is just bad. So yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that you had to deal with all that. What is the best thing for chronic constipation? Tried several meds and they stopped working after a few months. Okay, Debbie, so I am going to be doing a class on this. I think that that's going to be March's class. It's called This Poo Shall Pass. So I will send out information, and that's going to be one of the free ones. So now that you are signed up here, it's going to automatically be emailed to you. So you can just, hit the link to either watch it live or catch the replay later. But yeah, I'm going to give you a lot of good tips in that one. It's too much to go over right now since this class is on weight loss, but stay tuned. I use the ACV 1 tablespoon in my salad dressing. Wonderful. Could that add to acid reflux? I take a medication for that normally. Thank you. So Dawn, it depends. So potentially, but to be honest with you, most people who have heartburn, who have these types of issues, they actually have like not enough stomach acid. I know it sounds completely backwards, but yes, I need to do a class explaining how all of that works as well. But the main cause of heartburn is actually not having enough stomach acid. This is why apple cider vinegar is often used as a remedy to help heartburn, and it helps many people. Also, betaine, that's another wonderful thing that can help many people. But if you legitimately have too much stomach acid and you start taking apple cider vinegar, then yes, it can cause burning. So basically, if you eat your salad, if the apple cider vinegar is causing you problems, it's going to be immediate. You're going to notice right away. As soon as that salad hits your stomach, you're going to feel burning. If that is the case, you may want to back off on the apple cider vinegar. If you're not feeling heartburning right away, then that's probably not a problem. You're probably perfectly fine to go ahead and use that apple cider vinegar. It's great stuff. It's full of probiotics. I love apple cider vinegar, and I hope that you like it. My elderly mother has multiple UTIs. I even have a PureWick machine. What can I do to eliminate them? Okay, Carla. So I would have her check in with a doctor. I can tell you that my grandmother kept having chronic UTIs for years, so bad, just constantly on antibiotics, so bad for her. I even tried to help her as a pharmacist, like just nothing did the trick. And she got surgery and she has not had a single UTI since then. Like it has been life-changingly positive for her. So I would check in if she keeps getting UTI after UTI and just struggling with that. There are certainly fixes for that. And my grandmother, she went under the knife when she was 89 years old, and recovered perfectly fine. She's doing great. Now she's 91, spry, happy, chipper, lovely, lovely woman. I love her. I talk about her all the time. She's a huge inspiration for me as far as aging goes. But yeah, I would certainly look into that. Sometimes with chronic UTIs, it's more a question of anatomy, and that has to be fixed surgically. There's not really another way to address that. Protein to vegetarian. Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Love that. Thank you for that tip, Lisette. You're the best. Which strain of probiotic is helpful for weight loss? I think you have mentioned this in some of your Facebook Lives. Yes, oh gosh, I need to pull up my notes here because let me tell you guys, these names, they're not, Bifidobacterium lactis. That is the one that is the most beneficial for weight loss. Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head, sorry. But yeah, so very beneficial for weight loss. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, anyone who wants to book a consult, go ahead. Please fill my calendar up. I would love it. What is Levitone? Oh, hepatotone. Okay. So hepatotone is basically, it's got all kinds of stuff that supports your liver health. So it's got like NAC in it. I'm sure you guys have heard about NAC. It's got milk thistle in it. I'm sure you guys have heard about milk thistle. Just basically things that help your liver to function its absolute best. It's another one of these things that you don't normally, guys, in my opinion, most supplements you don't take long term. Like I use supplements all the time, but I use them for like a boost when I need something. So I have taken hepatotone myself as well, just to kind of boost things and get them going in the right direction. So if you're dealing with sluggish liver, if you're dealing, a big key is, are you waking up every single day at 3 a.m.? If you are waking up every single day at 3 a.m., it's usually something is going on with your liver. Your liver is working overtime. We need to figure out why, okay? So taking something like hepatotone short term, and then also eliminating like inflammatory foods or whatever in your life, toxins. We see this a lot of times if people get mold in their homes. They're exposed to mold. All of a sudden, their liver is working overtime. They can get rid of the mold exposure, hopefully. Sometimes they have to move, but sometimes we can get rid of it. And then they take hepatotone short time, they get back on track, and then they're perfectly fine. So the best thing is to figure out exactly why your liver is doing that to you. Why is it waking you up at 3 a.m.? Why is it not eliminating toxins from your body the way that it should? Because your liver is your detox. A lot of times you hear people talking about, oh, detox your liver. Like your liver is the detox system. It's just that sometimes we have to support that system for whatever reason, whether it is due to toxic exposure or due to your immune system going haywire and reacting to food with an immune response when it should not be, or whatever, your gallbladder is gone and it's working overtime, like the one patient that I helped. So lots of reasons why you might need hepatotone, but it's basically liver support. Thank you, Jamie, for your information. Oh, you seem so easy to work with. Good vibes. Thank you. I am interested in signing up with your program and work with you. Awesome. So excited, Susan. ACV capsules as effective as liquid ACV? I don't know, Michelle. The thing, now the capsules, I am definitely more likely to go with capsules over gummies. I'll say that up front. Capsules we know is a proven method to effectively get medication into people, right? Versus gummies, not so much. Now, as far as the capsule itself, my only problem is I haven't seen clinical trials proving that the capsules work. I have seen clinical trials proving that the ACV liquid works. So I'm really on the fence about it. I don't know, honestly. I think my guess, this is literally just me spitballing this here, so please don't quote me. But my guess is that the capsules work a little bit, but just not as effective as the ACV itself. This is kind of like supplements. When you get something from food, it works great. When you get it from a supplement, it kind of works, but not as good as food. Fiber is a great example. A lot of people cannot get enough fiber in their diet, especially people who have Crohn's or something like that, right? So they're not getting the fiber from the food, which is the best way. So then they'll add in a supplement, which is fine. The supplement can still be beneficial. I just said, you know, the psyllium husk can really help, right? It's just not as beneficial as the food. My guess is that's how the ACV capsules versus the ACV liquid is. So I hope that makes sense. But if you really cannot stomach the liquid, I totally understand. I hate the liquid. Then you can try the capsule and see if it provides any benefit for you. I don't know, I'm a wimp. When it comes to my drinks, it's like pretty much all water for me. Can't do green tea, can't do apple cider vinegar. All of these things I talk about that I know are so beneficial, I just can't bring myself to drink it. Does Wellbutrin make you gain weight? No, Wellbutrin makes you lose weight. Wellbutrin is actually 1/2 of the weight loss drug Contrave, which helps people lose about 5% of their body weight in clinical trials. So that's another reason that I really like Wellbutrin as an antidepressant, because it has positive sexual side effects and because it helps people to lose weight. We all know with antidepressants, the two main side effects that people complain about is sexual side effects and gaining weight. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that little thumbs up thing, guys. Thank you. Appreciate the info. I never add salt. Oh, cool. Yes. Add in a little salt and you will have all the iodine that you need. Now, some people can't do that because, you know, they're on like the MIND diet or the low salt diet for cardiovascular reasons. So sometimes iodine supplements are warranted, but for the general public, not necessary. How do we get your discount on ordering vitamins? Oh yeah, Trisha. So I am only allowed to hand out my discount if you sign up for one of my programs. I know. I talked to the Designs for Health company because I got this account with them and I was like, I'm doing this weight loss class and I really want to give everyone the 15% off. And they were like, you can't do that. They have to be actual signed up customers in order to access the discount. So if you are thinking about signing up with me as a patient, hold off on buying any supplements, because at that point I can give you 15% off supplements for life. You get to keep that discount forever, but they just have to see you as my official patient in my EMR, my electronic medical record. So that's a little pro tip. So yeah, if you want to, work with me, great. Don't buy any supplements yet. You're going to get 15% off. So all right. Oh, thank you so much, Sherry. That's so sweet. Oh, you guys are wonderful. For a short time, I took Manjaro and did not lose a lot, but I love what it's doing with brain cravings. Yes, anything easier to get that helps with that, taking berberine. Yes, so berberine can help. As far as the food noise, nothing works as well as the GLP-1 agonist. They do have, gosh, there are some different weight loss companies out there that can do like the compounded semaglutide, I think for like maybe $350 a month. But, that's still out of some people's price range, unfortunately. The GLP-1s, gosh, I just wish that they were all covered by insurance. They really should be for weight loss patients. I don't understand this whole moral dilemma that we have with giving people access to medications that can absolutely change and help their lives. Honestly, it breaks my heart. But yeah, so there are options, but some of them are still pretty pricey. I have not seen anything cheaper than, I think, about $350 a month for the GLP-1 agonist. Any additional weight loss tips for people with PCOS? Okay, Heather, I am doing an entire PCOS class as well. Gosh, not specifically about weight loss in particular, but there are tons of cool things. Like, I don't know how long you've been dealing with PCOS, if you know anything about spearmint and how much the spearmint tea can help, or even the spearmint oils that can just kind of help keep the androgens in check. So yeah, there are tips out there, but as far as the weight loss, not really, just kind of trying to address the main hormonal issue. It kind of depends on what you've got going on with your PCOS as well. It depends on if you've got like too much estrogen, not enough estrogen. And you guys, you can get supplements because, a lot of times with PCOS, like you don't necessarily want to take hormone replacement therapy, right? There are supplements that can do something kind of similar, but not as strong. Literally, guys, supplements are like the weak version of medications. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the all natural weaker version. So if you don't want to take the plunge and like actually get hormone replacement therapy, you can do something like FemGuard. They've got FemGuard for hot flushes. They've got FemGuard for PCOS. There are different things out there. It just kind of depends on exactly what your hormone levels look like and what you need to address. Oh, thank you so much, Beverly. What's your thoughts on Ozempic? I think Ozempic can be life-changingly positive. It's not for everyone, but I mean, I've just seen it do so many good things in so many patients' lives. You know what I mean? I can't really knock something that is helping people lose 15% of their body weight. A lot of people who have struggled their whole lives and never found success with other methods, Like I said, not for everyone, absolutely, but I think it can be a great thing. What can be done about varicose veins? Oh, you can get surgery. And a lot of times it's covered by insurance. I know this because I don't know. Oh my gosh. You guys might have seen my post about this on social media. It's probably not going to show up on here at all, but I had horrible varicose veins. I mean, absolutely terrible. And I got mine covered by surgery. It's probably not going to show up. That's my before and after picture of what my legs look like here. I got even better. How you guys like this one? Isn't that attractive? So that was before surgery on the left there, and then after surgery on the right. I mean, my legs were horrible, you guys. Like, I'm not just, talking out of nothing here. It's from real lived experience. But yeah, if you have reflux, then it's all covered by insurance. I got all of those surgeries done without any cost to me. Well, I had to pay my deductible, but other than that, it's covered. So call, and normally you can get a free consult with these vein surgery places. Tell them that you want them to test and see if you have reflux so it can be covered by insurance. They can handle all that for you, easy peasy. Also, another pro tip, make sure that you're standing up when they test you for reflux in your veins. Because when I lay down, I have no reflux and then I don't qualify. I told them, well, guys, let me stand up. Like I'm telling you, when I stand up, my legs just fill up, like my veins fill up. Right now, it doesn't look like anything. Let me stand up. I stood up, boom. They were like, oh, you've got reflux. Everything's covered. Wonderful. So something that's helpful to know. That was great, Jamie. Thank you. What do you have to say about MCT oil? Yes, MCT oil can certainly help. I like MCT oil a lot for like digestive issues. I think it can be really beneficial if you're dealing with SIBO, if you're dealing with IBS. So yeah, it can help with motility a lot too. It's almost like the grease that helps keep everything moving, you know? That's really kind of gross and a little bit graphic, but it's just real, right? Oh, wonderful, Carla. I can't wait to see you. Yeah, really good questions. Yeah, I appreciate it. I've been diagnosed with intestinal metaplasia. I have to take a PPI. Would ACV with water before meals be contraindicated? Ooh, Maria, definitely check in with your doctor. So yeah, I mean, the thing about ACV is when you mix it with water, the pH changes dramatically, so it's not quite so acidic. But you are right that if you are taking a PPI, you can't use things like betaine, for example. That is contraindicated. So the ACV isn't necessarily contraindicated, but you're kind of starting to walk a fine line. So check in with your doc, make sure that they are okay with it. And yeah, with that diagnosis, you probably do just have to stay on a PPI forever. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on your levels and that you're supplementing your magnesium and B12 if necessary, because those are usually the two things that get the most depleted with PPI use. So awesome. Great question. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Gina. What about alcoholism? Any help? Okay, Kathy. So with alcoholism, are you referring to, am I going to do a class on that? That's a good idea. I haven't thought about that, but that is a great idea. Now, if you're talking about the things in your body that get depleted, B vitamins. Thiamine is the big one. That's like, if we see someone who's super thiamine deficient, that's the first thing we're thinking is they've probably struggled with alcoholism, right? So that's what you really need to keep an eye on. If you are overcoming alcoholism, or if you know someone who is, make sure that their B vitamins are good. Not a bad idea to give them a B complex vitamin, also vitamin D. So yeah, that's the big thing. Okay, got it. So yeah, I should do a class on that. That could be really interesting. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let me think about how I can bring, good information on that so that I can give you guys something really valuable. I really want to give you guys like info that you haven't already heard a million times when I do these. What about Dr. Living Good supplements, ACV capsules? Okay, Dana, so I'm not sure about that particular one. I haven't seen that, but like I said, my guess is the capsules probably help, just not quite as much as the liquid, but that's a guess. I haven't seen any data, actual clinical trials. Thank you so much, Rosario. Appreciate you. What do you mean about reflux? Yes. So basically, it's basically when your blood goes back down. So your veins have valves that are supposed to push your blood up. And when you have varicose veins, those valves get weak and the blood refluxes back down. So that's what reflux is when it comes to your veins. Basically, your little valves are too weak. It's not holding the blood up. It gets washed back down, and then you've got the varicosities. Can too much testosterone in women? Absolutely, Lisa. Yes. I will say this is one thing that I hate, because you guys know I'm a big proponent of hormone replacement therapy if you need it. I'm taking an estradiol patch myself. Absolutely great stuff. But I really hate to see the testosterone pellets being used in women. And testosterone is absolutely something that women may choose to supplement with. I think that it's best done in the, like the lotion, you know what I'm saying? Or the foam. Yeah. That form, get that compounded at a lower strength, because women, we do not need as much testosterone as men. Okay. We're different for different reasons, right? We do not want to be adding in the massive quantities of testosterone that men need when they're testosterone deficient. So a lot of times the problem is with these pellets that they're giving women is they're giving them way too much testosterone. And it's just sad, because you'll see women who were doing great for like the first month or two, because that testosterone hits your system, you feel wonderful. And then you start getting all of these unwanted side effects that come along with having too much testosterone, right? So I think it's really sad when they start giving women way, way, way too much testosterone. And I'm starting to lose my voice because this has been a lot of talking. So I'm glad that we're getting towards the end of the questions here. So yeah, when you do testosterone supplementation, if you're a woman, if you want to get the compounded testosterone, make sure that you're going to a reputable healthcare provider. And I would try to avoid the pellets. I would try to go for the foam, the lotion, the cream, the topical one that you can kind of dial back on if necessary, if you start getting these unwanted effects. When they do the pellets and they inject it under your skin, it's just a lot more problematic, and they're generally giving you way too high of doses. So women just need a little boost of testosterone. We need a lot more estrogen and progesterone, a little bit of testosterone, we're good to go. Men, on the other hand, who need testosterone, they're going to get way higher doses. So that's just women are women and men are men, right? Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. I appreciate you so much. Okay, guys, that is the end. Oh, got one more question. Other than Excedrin for headaches or migraines, other suggestions? I mean, Excedrin works really well for headaches and migraines. Now, other things over the counter, I don't really have much more for you other than you can use supplements that can prevent some migraines, but they're not going to treat migraines. That's going to be like omega-3s and B vitamins can both kind of help prevent migraines, and magnesium as well, magnesium glycinate in particular. But if you're looking to actually treat a headache in the moment, then you're going to be looking at prescription medications. The triptans can be fine. I really, really love those injections that are just like once weekly or once monthly that can prevent the vast majority of migraines. Absolutely love those. That's like your Aimovig. But yeah, so anything beyond Excedrin as far as treating migraines, that is going to require a prescription. So just chat with your doctor if you're getting like frequent headaches or migraines, and they can absolutely hook you up with a high quality medication. And thank you guys so much. You guys are like leaving me so many nice comments now. I really, really appreciate it. Sorry that my voice is starting to get a little bit hoarse here. And I thought I could talk for hours and hours and be fine because I'm too much of a talker here. But oh, Botox shot for migraines. Yes, that works really well as well. Absolutely. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. So do not forget where you can get your free ebook, where you can check out the weight loss protocol if you'd like, if you want to sign up to work with me one-on-one. Wonderful. And if you're not already a subscriber to the app and you want to see the sugar addiction class that's happening in 2 weeks, sign up on the app. It's now on Apple and Google Play. I hope I see you all there. And anyone who is in the app, if you want me to message you one-on-one, so like everyone and their brother can't see what you have to say, I totally get that. Just drop me a comment in one of the community feeds and say, hey, can I message you? And then I'll turn around and message you so we can communicate privately so everyone doesn't have to see it. I understand some people are like, oh, I still don't like, putting my business out on the streets in the app. I get it. So we have that messaging capability. It's just that I have to initiate it. Once I initiate it, then you and I can communicate freely. So wonderful. Thank you guys. Yes, this recording will be available offline. I don't know about that per se. I mean, I'm going to upload it onto the website, so you'll be able to watch it right from there. You might be able to save it from there. I'm honestly not really sure how Zoom recordings work. This is my first Zoom recording, so we're learning together. But yeah, I will put it. Oh, awesome. Awesome. So happy to see you in there, Adrian. Appreciate it. And I will see you guys for the next class. Like I said, you will get an email now, the 1st of February, telling you all about how you can sign up for the heart health class if you want. It's probably not going to have as many people as this one because everyone loves weight loss, but heart health is really important. And there are some really cool hacks that you can do that can set you up to have a long, healthy, cardiometabolic life. So let me hook you up with those. All right, guys, I will see you soon. Now I need to know how to end this. I'm going to figure it out here. There we go.